Chairman, thank you very, very much for allowing me to, I don't want to question the witnesses. I wanted to ask a couple of questions of the chair if I could, just to clarify. Would that be okay?
Chair, will you have questions?
Thank you. As I understand it, and we've established before the hearing, but I think reestablished during the hearing, I'm looking at the letter from the Justice Department, and it says, as stated below, congressional districts TX of 9, 18, 29, and 33 currently constitute unconstitutional, quote, coalition districts, and we urge the state of Texas to rectify these race-based considerations from these specific districts. And so, this was sent to the governor. It moved the governor to put on the call that we needed to have a session that included, a special session that included responding to the Justice Department's request. Is that the way you see it as well? I think you said you see it that way, so I'll say you see it that way.
As the chair stated earlier, you'd have to ask the Department of Justice what they mean
Well,
with this letter.
the letter pretty specifically says, I mean, you can read the second sentence in the first paragraph. So that's what it says, and it specifically says that these four districts, 9, 18, 29, and 33, currently constitute unconstitutional coalition districts. So the question I have for you, Chairman, is then you as chairman, presumably, laid out put together the notice of public hearing. Is that right? You put it?
That is correct.
Okay. In it, and the reason I ask is because you cover the congressional district in which I live, which is District 28. And so you say in the notice, this hearing will focus on counties of the state lying wholly or partly within congressional districts 10. I'll start with this, 10. So is it the chair's position that 10 is also one of the districts in addition to the four that the Justice Department references? You're adding District 10 to that, is that right?
The chair noticed the hearings based off of since there were going to be 3 initial hearings on any revisions to the plan, which was in response to the governor's proclamation, I divided the state up into 3. That is the sole reason why today's hearing, as is customary every time that we've done redistricting, to my knowledge, we have these types of pre-hearings. They sometimes refer to them colloquially as field hearings or informational gathering hearings. Mm-hmm. And there has to be some type of division of focus to encourage us to focus on something. And so I split the state up into 3. The decision was made based off of the districts that were the closest to Austin, which is where we were going to be today. That's how that list came up for today's hearing. But as the notice indicates, any member of the public is free to testify on any district they wish.
But Chairman, you did not list every single congressional district in the state. You very specifically in your notice to the public, you said you would focus on districts 10, 11, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 23, 27, 28, which is where I live, 31, 34, and 35, and 37. You did not list all of them.
I listed every single district when you add all 3 of the hearing notices up together.
Again,
and there's a bold statement in the notice that says, but the committee will take testimony about any region of the state.
So my question to you then, and you can say, no, you don't believe that 10, 11, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 23, 27, 28, 31, etc., you don't believe that they currently constitute unconstitutional coalition districts. Is that the chair's position? Or do you think that they do?
I think you need to ask the Department of Justice what they think about any particular districts. My position is, and always has been, that any map that I have voted on as a member complies with the Voting Rights Act.
Correct, but the reason that we have this hearing is directly because of this letter from the Justice Department, and they specifically point out Texas 9, 18, 29, and 33. They do not point out 10, 11, 15, and certainly don't put 28. So I'm asking you, why would you have put those specific numbers? And by the way,
because the chair did not set this schedule based off of the letter from the Department of Justice, but from the governor's proclamation, which is not limited to particular districts.
But the governor has said, he has said many times by now that this letter, this request by the Justice Department, is the reason that he has put it on the agenda. And because he has put it on the agenda, you are having a hearing today. You've said that.
I have said that it is customary for the legislature, when the governor places an item on the call, to take up that item. And so That item that was listed was revisions to the Congressional Redistricting Plan. I then set up these pre-hearings, these field hearings, we'll just call them field hearings, based on the prior precedent, which has always been followed by the Redistricting Committee, is to canvass every area of the state with hearings focused on particular regions. I then divided the state in three, aligning the regions closest to where the hearings were taking place.
Chairman, I believe we're going to be taking up disaster because of the disaster on July the 4th. Would you agree with that?
Whether or not, certainly a committee, a select committee has been appointed
Right.
to take up the disaster items, and they've held a hearing already, and they will
And
hold
they're,
another.
and they're, would you agree that they're doing it because of the recent disaster?
I would say that would probably be
Yes.
obvious, but I would say
Yes.
this.
And so, Chairman, with all
Let's
respect.
keep the questions limited to the
Okay.
business before the committee.
But that was an example that, just like the reason that we're taking up disaster is because of July 4th, because of that storm, the reason we are taking this up, the governor has said it, and I just want to establish, the governor has said that he is taking it up. He's asking us to take it up because of this letter from the Justice Department. And my question, and I'll move on, but in this letter, which necessitated the governor, I guess, putting it on the agenda, necessitated you having this hearing, was because of these four districts, which the Justice Department says are unconstitutional coalition districts. And what bothers me, I have to tell you, because it includes my district, my area, is that then you expand that to all these other districts. You specifically put them in the announcement, Chairman. Now, if you don't want to answer it, that's okay. But you either believe or you don't believe that the districts that you have added to the agenda, because you specifically pointed them out here, including mine, 28. You either believe that they are also, like the Justice Department believes, unconstitutional coalition districts, or you don't want to answer it. It's up. I'm just curious.
I would reject the gentleman's hypothetical. I think that the chair has succinctly answered already why the list is the way it is. It was chosen because the governor's call asked for revised congressional district plan. I then followed the practice of every redistricting that I'm aware of, which is to have hearings that go around the entire state in the sense of covering all the regions. We had 3 hearings. We divided the state in 3. Ipso facto, the list.
Chairman,
And yes, the chair will acknowledge the number distinction, but as the chair has already stated, I did not set these hearings based off of that July 7th letter.
well, Chairman,
and so that I've answered your question.
Chairman, I love you. You've helped me on the floor. I appreciate you, brother. But when you put my district, 28, along with all these others, on your announcement here, it seems to me you're indicating that you believe it's an unconstitutional district.
That is,
It's not a
the chair's
hypothetical.
position is that every map he's ever voted on complies with the Voting Rights Act. And
So in
the
other
gentleman
words, you
should
believe-
not construe anything the chairman believes to indicate that he believes any particular district that's currently drawn or previously drawn violates the Voting Rights Act.
Thank you. You've answered it. You said that all these districts, 10, 11, 15, 16, you believe are constitutional. Thank you.